So, have you gotten any negative feedback about your selection in Dead or Alive Female?
Yeah, there's been some talk, but I haven't really paid attention to it. I don't really know what people are saying. I just stay out of it.
That's the best way to approach it, really.
Yeah, there's no point in hearing what people want to
Feeding
complain
the fire.
about.
Yeah, there's no point.
So, how long do you think it would take you to reach a level of, say, Hitomi 1 or Vanessa? Two are arguably like two of the, what?
I said 1 week.
Yeah, you know.
We'll see next week.
Yeah, we will see next week. Vanessa, I mean, she's got years of experience, but, you know, if you play smart and, you know, you don't just, you know, you think about your game, you go back and you look at what you're doing wrong, I think that's the fastest way to improve. So realistically, maybe 4 months.
Okay.
I mean, no, if you look at Seraphim, for example, I think that's his name. Yeah, from Korea. He's only been playing since March. And what did he come? 4th at WCG?
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, it's realistic.
Okay. What is the most exciting thing about the CGS to you?
11 teams flown in from all around the world to compete in a world final that's televised live on TV. That's very exciting. You know, we're being treated very, very nicely. It's, you know, everybody's staying at the same apartments. It's fantastic.
Are you getting a lot of practice in because everyone's like, or is it very much like try to not really practice with the other teams?
No, I'm getting in a lot of practice. You know, there's always the males to play with if the females won't play with me. So, and you know, we play each other from other sides of the bracket. So, yeah, it's possible.
Are any of the girls scared of you? Because you said.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, sometimes you said sometimes the females don't want to play, so there's always the males.
Well, I'm not saying me specifically, just in general.
In general, all right.
There you go, camera. They're all really scared of her, though. That's right. That's what's really happening. We talked a little bit about it, but do you feel like Region 1 has any sort of advantage going into the World Finals? And we discussed this, you know, even on the show that Vanessa was on, where it's sort of, you know, there was 6 weeks of shows or 4 weeks of shows where they got to play out their entire season, got to be up there in the lights with the crowds. And for some of the other teams, there wasn't as an extensive of a season. Do you think there's any sort of advantage, you know, to going into the World Finals?
Maybe a little bit, because as I said, stage play is different than practice room play. But as I said, also, you know, we've got strong teams because of they're concentrated only to a couple. So I think that there could be some upsets from that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I think that there'll definitely be some upsets just because with the way that the scoring goes. Yeah. But, you know, and also considering the sheer amount of practice, well, you guys have had just as much practice and a lot of times because your combines did happen, you know, back in this. So let's talk a little bit about your GM, who happens to be sitting over here in the peanut gallery, making Livia laugh. But BSL has a lot of background in gaming, player, managing teams. How beneficial do you think it is for you as a player to have a GM who has got such an extensive background?
It's good. I mean, he knows what the players are going through. You know, he sits and he learns the game. He knows what to tell you, and he's a very, very good coach, and he's a really good guy. So I'm really, really happy to be on his team.
Now, you've been around competitive gaming for a while, so you're not a stranger to the concept of managers, but GMs are a little bit different. How has the GM played a role in, like, for you in this whole thing?
They keep everyone in line. Everyone, you know, like gamers, when they usually go to events, everything gets a bit crazy. GMs are like setting schedules. You know, you have to do this, you have to do that all the time, and it's really good. I think it's had a really positive effect on most players.
Gamers definitely need to be kept in line.
Yeah, definitely.
We're not allowed to talk about any of the stories of you know, Livia.
No, that's all VIP.
Outside,
it's
right?
VIP.
Exactly. That's all. That's all. They'll be on the website in the next couple months.
Yeah, it's on Berlin Alliance site.
So I want to talk a little bit about, you know, coming from a very extensive professional, you know, gaming background. Where do you think CGS fits into the grand scope of everything?
I think CGS are setting a really, you know, they're pioneering basically what professional gaming should be. And I think that it can only get bigger, and I'm really, really positive about the future of CGS.
Do you, or what would you answer, what would you say to someone who says, you know, I don't care about professional gaming or competitive gaming. I play games to have fun. You know, like and I'm actually pulling this right from a comment of one of our users on the front page, who commented, said, you know what, I play games to have fun. I don't really care about, the competitive side of it. What would you say to someone like that in terms of, like, for example, with what CGS is trying to do and how consoles are playing into that? Like,
I mean, like, there's some people that don't really have that competitive spirit, but if you enjoy gaming, I mean, like, why wouldn't you want to watch the people that are at the top of their game, compete against each other? I mean, maybe you yourself wouldn't want to compete, but watching pros, it's very fun.
Is it
and
no
they're
different
always
from
having fun as
a
well.
sport? Like,
No,
because
it's no different
I
from a
don't play
sport.
basketball professionally.
Yeah.
I never will. But you know what? Every once in a while, I like to have a little fun and play some basketball.
No, it's definitely no different from a sport. I mean, if you're into gaming, why wouldn't you want to watch the best?
I don't know. That I was kind of. I don't think there was a right answer to that question. I was just calling said
good
guy
point, though. I
out
like
because
that.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm on the same boat you are. It's
Right.
like
I don't
I
get it.
see
Yeah.
anything. It doesn't matter. When there's a Sears catalog or a JCPenney catalog that has like a video game on it, suddenly my attention is dropped. Just because I like video games, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it would be the same thing.
Yeah,
so
it should be.
I'm not.
I don't get it.
I don't quite get it either. So, in the grand scope of things, you think that they're, sort of like putting forth a good effort, a good hand, a good showing. Where do you see CGS in like the upcoming years?
I think that it's got a great future. They just re-signed another year with Mountain Dew, so it's showing that it's got a promising future to it, and I do see it as becoming like one of the biggest leagues, to be able to participate in the coming years.
Do you think that? Any? And this is a general question. Do you think that any one tournament can ever become the tournament, or do you think they all exist in different facets to like support, different areas of gaming?
Yeah, I think that it is. Each tournament has its own area of gaming. For example, you have the other leagues in Korea for StarCraft, and then there's CGS with a bunch of different games mixed together. CGS, though, is very different to all those other leagues because of the fact that you're playing in a team, but within that team, everybody's playing a different game.
Right.
So, like, whereas before you might not have been interested in Counter-Strike, now you're watching it and you're like, oh my God, this is like the most intense game ever.
Right. It changes the dynamic.
Exactly, and it's very different to any of the other leagues simply because of that.
So also one of the things that I see asked a lot on the CGS web pages is, or maybe not even asked, but like arguments or threads about how about this game, or let's add this game or this game. So like if you could create the perfect CGS game lineup. So if they came to you and were like, yo, Livia, you are choosing the 4 games this year
I like
for
this question.
CGS. What 4 games are in there?
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. But then there's so many factors that you have to
It doesn't matter.
Take
just off the.
Okay. I would keep a fighting game, probably Dead or Alive.
Okay.
I would want a 1v1 FPS, and because I'm an Unreal girl, I would say UT3.
All right.
I would
Nice.
keep Counter-Strike because it's so popular, and I would stick an RTS game in there. Warcraft 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you would.
What about StarCraft 2 if it was out?
Yeah, or StarCraft 2. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay, StarCraft 2. That's so, and you would put definitely UT3.
I don't know how it would work on TV. I would have to think about it, but
I don't know how RTS would work
I would just love
either.
to